Okay, let's get into your reading, Libra. Okay, so someone from your past is unexpectedly going to return into your life. Now listen, I am just your messenger giving you this message, okay? Let's not shoot the messenger here. This is what has come out in the reading. So that's what we are going to look at. And I want to say that plainly before we go any further, loves, because I know sometimes what comes through in a reading isn't always comfortable. My job isn't to soften it into something prettier than it is. My job is to tell you honestly what the cards are showing me and let you decide what to do with it. And I want you to feel that responsibility settle onto you gently, loves, not as a burden, but as an actual gift. Whatever comes next in this story, you get to be the one holding the pen. The Tower. The Tower here goes to show that there was something that happened between you and a specific person, and it didn't go very well, okay? There's energies here of chaos. There's conflict. There's even separation, distance, space, time, betrayal. There's this kind of energy that is really coming through. And I want to sit with the Tower for a moment, loves, because this card always shows something being struck suddenly, a structure that felt solid, collapsing all at once rather than slowly. Whatever happened between you two, it wasn't a gradual fading, it was a break. And I want you to honor how much that break actually cost you, loves, because sudden endings rarely give you time to properly grieve. You were likely left holding pieces of something that shattered before you even understood what was happening. And the Tower here really goes to show some form of regret from their side as well. And look what we have here. 9 of Cups. This person may appear like they're living their greatest life. They're living their best life. But deep down, there is absolute and certain regret. They regret walking away from you, or disrespecting you, or moving away from you, or creating an end to the situation. They very much regret doing that, okay? And I want you to understand something about that image, loves. The 9 of Cups usually shows someone sitting comfortably, arms crossed, surrounded by golden cups, looking satisfied on the surface. But satisfaction and peace are not the same thing. You can have every outward marker of a good life and still carry a quiet, private ache underneath it. And I want you to really receive that, loves, because it means their outward confidence, their seemingly full life, was never the whole truth. There was always a room in their heart that stayed locked, with your name still written somewhere inside it. And I want you to let that image stay with you, loves, because it explains so much of what didn't make sense before. Their silence was never proof you didn't matter. It was simply a door they hadn't found the courage to open yet. And doors, loves, eventually open, not always on the timeline we'd choose, but they open once the person on the other side finally finds the courage the moment requires. And I believe, loves, based on everything this spread has shown me, that courage is already forming in them, quietly, the same way water slowly wears down stone, patient, persistent, until eventually something gives. There's going to be an unexpected return from this person towards you in your life. Now, if you choose to then move on from that and walk away from that, it's going to be your choice very much. Because you will have the option to either accept them back in your life or to completely reject them. The 8 of Cups here really goes to show this energy here of them, coming back around, but also you making that choice, whether you choose to leave or you choose to stay. The 10 of Cups. And so the energy of stay is the 10 of Cups. And the energy of you, if you want to leave, is the 8 of Cups. The ball is in your court. And I want you to comment that down below. The ball is in my court. Why? Because you now have power as to what you choose to do in a situation in which you were left to feel very, very powerless, right? You felt very, very powerless because this person sort of walked away or created this big thing, right? And they left you hanging and whatever. And I want you to really sit with that shift, loves, because for however long this took to reach you, you were on the receiving end of someone else's decision. You didn't get to choose the ending, but this time you do get to choose what happens next. That alone is worth pausing on fully. You spent time feeling like the story ended without your input, loves, like a door closed and you weren't even in the room when it happened. That chapter is over now. This next one, you help write, and that shift alone, loves, deserves to be felt fully, not just noted in passing. You went from powerless to co-author in the space of a single reading, and I want to honor how significant that shift actually is, loves, because most people never get to reclaim that agency after a sudden painful ending. You are getting it back fully tonight, and now there's a real sense of regret. There's a real sense of, oh my God, I can't believe I did this towards you. Oh my God, I can't believe I treated you in this way. Oh my God, I can't believe that this actually happened. And so there's a real sense here of regret, shame, guilt, frustration, pain, and not quite understanding and not quite realizing and not quite, being able to process like, oh my God, I can't believe I treated you like that. And really now being able to process that. But at the time, not being able to process what they were doing towards you. But now they really process how, they treated you and how badly they treated you and why they treated you like that and things like that. So they do feel really, really bad and quite sad and just very, very frustrated overall. And I want to say something about that delay in understanding, loves, because it's a genuinely human pattern in the middle of causing hurt. A person is often too defensive, too wrapped up in their own justifications to actually see clearly what they're doing. Clarity tends to arrive later, often much later, once the noise of the moment has finally quieted down. And I want you to give them grace for that timing, loves, not because it excuses what happened, but because understanding why something took this long to surface can bring you a kind of peace that anger alone never quite reaches. The Two of Cups, and we have here the Two of Cups. So again, there's an energy here of them wanting to reconcile, wanting to talk to you, wanting to know what you're up to, what you're doing, how you are, how you've been, and things like that. The Three of Pentacles. So we also have here as well the Three of Pentacles. Wanting to make things work, wanting to talk about things that perhaps both of you spoke about, and really connecting on those similar topics. So, for example, if you spoke to this person and you had certain things in common, like certain films or TV shows or music that you really enjoyed listening to or watching, or certain foods that maybe, you experienced together or made for each other, or things like that, or places you visited, or things you spoke about. It's really about connecting on that common ground and them asking you about that and sort of asking like, oh, do you still eat this food? Or do you still go to this place? Or do you still talk to these people? And, kind of trying to bridge any kind of distance in space and really trying to connecting to you in terms of things that you have enjoyed talking to them or sharing with them in the past. Basically it's about connecting on those things that kind of connected both of you together. So that's what I'm seeing here, especially with that Three of Pentacles and also the Two of Cups as well. And I want to name why these small, ordinary details matter so much, loves. Because it would have been easy for them to simply say, I miss you, and leave it there. Instead, what's coming through is something more specific, more textured, the actual shared language the two of you built together. That specificity is exactly what makes a reconciliation attempt feel genuine rather than generic. And I want you to trust your own instinct here, loves. when the moment actually comes. You'll know the difference between a real textured attempt to reconnect and a hollow one that's simply testing the waters. We know that this person is going to unexpectedly return, okay? The Three of Wands, short matter of time with the Three of Wands, because this is a general reading. We won't get into a specific exact time frame here, since timelines and time frames vary from person to person, connection to connection. The Queen of Cups and Justice. So we've got here the Queen of Cups, and also we've got here the Justice card as well. A Justice card is very, very important because it means justice in this situation is served. And I want to sit with justice for a moment, loves, because this card never rushes and it never skips a step. It weighs things fully, fairly, before it delivers its verdict. Whatever imbalance existed in how you were treated, the scales are correcting themselves now in their own time, exactly as they should. And I want you to trust that correction, loves, even on the days it feels slow. Justice rarely moves at the pace we'd prefer, but it moves with a fairness that eventually accounts for everything. You have very much wondered about this situation, and to a degree, it's really, really fascinating that I am going to say this to you, but the better you feel, the stronger you feel, and the more you feel like you don't necessarily need this person in your life to complete you, the sooner they come towards you, okay? The more confident you feel within yourself, the better you feel within yourself, the happier, the stronger you feel within yourself, the quicker they come to you. So detachment really is the key here. And I want to slow down here, loves, because I know detachment can sound cold at first, like I'm asking you to stop caring altogether. That's not it at all. Detachment simply means your peace stops being conditional on their behavior, on their timing, on whether they come back at all. And that shift, loves, is the single most freeing thing you can do for yourself right now. Not because you stop caring, but because your worth was never something they had the power to determine in the first place. And I want you to actually say that back to yourself, loves. My worth was never theirs to determine. Let the sentence feel strange in your mouth if it needs to, and say it anyway. Your voice carries a different kind of belief than silent reading does, loves. And belief spoken aloud settles deeper into the body than belief simply thought. So even if it feels a little silly, loves, say it anyway. Silliness has never once stopped something from being true if you find it hard to detach. If you can't place that energy towards yourself, if this person consumes every second of every minute of every day, okay? In terms of your thoughts, if your emotions depend on how this person comes towards you and when they come to you, it means that you are extremely attached and you're codependent. So you must work on codependency. You must work on detachment. You do those two things and you create this beautiful space and place for yourself. And it triggers things that you want to happen for you, okay? So I think that's really, really important for me to mention here. And I want to explain why detachment actually works this way, loves. Because it isn't magic in the sense some people assume. A person who feels stable and whole is simply easier to be around, more grounded, less anxious, less prone to the small tensions that desperation creates without meaning to. People are drawn toward that steadiness naturally. Think about the people in your own life you're most drawn to, loves, the ones who feel easy to be around. Chances are they weren't chasing your attention. They simply existed fully in their own life, and that wholeness pulled you in without them ever trying. You can become exactly that person, loves, not for their benefit, but for your own. And the fact that it also happens to draw them back is simply a beautiful side effect of you finally choosing yourself first. It's really about making sure that you create that energy for yourself and you're not desperate. because desperation slows things down. Desperation does not allow things to happen, right? Things don't always come your way when you are extremely, extremely desperate, right? When we are crying, begging, pleading, chasing, that's not the energy that allows the things that we want to come to us. We don't attract in that kind of energy. We attract in the kind of energy where we are detached. And I want to be clear, loves. Detachment does not mean numbness or pretending you don't care. It means you've stopped placing your entire emotional world in someone else's hands and started placing it back where it belongs, in your own. And I want you to feel how much lighter that actually is, loves, carrying just your own heart instead of also trying to manage theirs from a distance. Give yourself that lightness starting tonight, loves. Not someday, not once they've reached out. Tonight. That's why people that often don't really care about certain things have it, right? You might think to yourself, why is that person always just with, a new romantic person all the time? And I find it really hard. It's because to a degree, they probably don't emotionally depend on it, right? And I think that's really, really important to understand, as in they're not so emotionally dependent and desperate for it. And I think that's the best way for me to really explain things, to be honest. And you can also say the same thing about people that have a lot of money in their life, right? Why are they not so how can they just have it? Because they probably, number one, they probably think that, okay, yes, I deserve it. But also they're not so desperate for it to the point where their entire life just depends on it. It's one of those things where the more detached you are, the more you create space for it as well. Think of it like a room, loves. A cluttered room has no space for anything new to enter. A room that's been cleared, cared for, made peaceful is exactly the kind of space where good things naturally want to arrive. So start clearing that room now, loves. Not by pushing anything away, but simply by tending to yourself, your own peace, your own joy, fully, regardless of what happens next. So yeah, honestly, create space for it. Don't be so desperate and watch what happens. The King of Pentacles. I think that's really it, especially with the King of Pentacles. Yes, things will happen for you. Yes, this person will unexpectedly come forward. We know they're going to unexpectedly come forward. So just let them come forward. You know what I mean? And I want you to actually feel the relief in that permission, loves. Because you have likely spent real energy wondering what more you could possibly do to make this happen. The answer, gently, is nothing more. You've already done enough. And I want you to actually believe that sentence, loves, not just read past it. You've already done enough. The justice is going to be served and they are going to progress towards you. We already know that. You're going to have the ball in your court and things are going to manifest and progress for you. So let it happen, right? Just let it happen. Focus on yourself. Focus on the things that are working for you. Do you take care of yourself? And watch what happens. This person themselves will come to you. This person themselves will progress towards you. This person themselves will find a way to make things work with you and for you and towards you, without you being the one to do absolutely everything, because you don't need to do everything. And I want you to actually let yourself rest in that, loves. Because for a long time now, you may have been the one carrying most of the emotional weight in this story. This next part isn't yours to carry alone. It's theirs to finally step up and hold. And I think that is very, very important and very, very powerful in terms of this. And I want to expand on that specific piece a little more, loves. Because so many of you, when you hear an unexpected return is coming, immediately start thinking about what you should do to make it happen faster. Reach out first, check their socials, rehearse what you'd say if they messaged tonight. None of that is required here, loves, and honestly, most of it would only slow things down. This reading is telling you plainly the movement is coming from their side. The Tower already broke something open in them. The Nine of Cups already showed you the private regret sitting underneath their outward life. The work of realizing what they lost, that work is already theirs to carry, not yours. Let them carry it, loves, fully. You've carried enough for one story already. Let your arms actually rest, loves, even if just for tonight. You don't have to hold the whole outcome up by yourself anymore. And I want that relief to actually reach you tonight, loves, not just as a nice idea, but as something you genuinely feel in your body. The weight you've carried, you get to set at least some of it down now. Just for tonight, loves, let your shoulders actually drop. Let your breath come a little slower. This part is not yours to solve alone anymore. And I want to remind you of that gently, loves, as often as you need to hear it. Because old habits of carrying everything alone don't disappear overnight, even once the truth of the situation has genuinely changed. And before the final message, I want to leave you with 3 small things to hold on to, loves. The first, use this waiting period to actually build the detachment we've been talking about, not as a strategy to lure them back faster, but because a steady, whole version of you deserves to exist regardless of what they choose to do. The second, when they do reach out, notice whether the conversation actually goes somewhere. The 3 of Pentacles showed real, specific reconnection, shared memories, shared language. If what shows up instead feels shallow or purely convenient, trust that difference. And the third, remember that the ball is genuinely in your court. The 8 of Cups and 10 of Cups are both still live options here. Their return does not obligate you to anything. You get to decide fully, freely what happens from here. And I want to say clearly, loves, there is no wrong answer waiting for you here. Accepting them back and choosing not to are both completely valid outcomes. As long as whichever one you choose comes from clarity, not fear, and not obligation, give yourself full permission for either path, loves. Because a decision made from genuine clarity, whichever direction it points, will always feel more peaceful in the long run than one made from pressure or guilt. And I want to remind you, loves, that peace, whichever direction it comes from, is always the goal here, more than any specific outcome. And I want to answer one more thing before the final message, loves, why this reached you now with this much specific detail about their regret. You needed to see the full shape of what's shifting in them so that when they do come back around, you're not caught off guard by it, and you're not scrambling to figure out how you feel in the moment. You have time now, loves, to actually think this through calmly, rather than being blindsided by a sudden message and reacting purely from old, unresolved emotion. You deserve that clarity, loves, more than almost anything else this reading could offer you. Not confusion dressed up as hope, but genuine, settled understanding of what you actually want. Use this time wisely, loves. Journal it out if that helps. Talk it through with someone you trust, or simply sit quietly with your own honest feelings until you know exactly where you stand. And I want to speak to the small doubting part of you for a moment, loves. The one that's read all of this and is quietly thinking, but what if they never actually come back? That voice is not wisdom. It's a pattern built from being disappointed before, trying to protect you from hoping and being let down again. Just for tonight, loves, set that voice down completely. This is already in motion, loves. The Tower showed the real break that happened between you. The 9 of Cups showed their private, hidden regret. The 2 of Cups and 3 of Pentacles showed a genuine, specific attempt at reconciliation forming. Justice confirmed the fairness of the situation is already correcting itself, and the King of Pentacles confirmed real, grounded stability is coming on both sides. Stay open, loves, and stay detached. And I want to remind you, loves, You don't have to do anything dramatic to receive this. Your only job right now is to keep living your full life and let this arrive on its own timing. No elaborate ritual required, loves. No complicated steps to follow. Simply living your life fully, staying rooted in yourself, and staying open when it finally arrives. So let me lay this all out one final time, loves, slowly, so it settles into your bones. Someone from your past is unexpectedly going to return into your life. The Tower confirms something real broke between you: chaos, distance, even betrayal. The Nine of Cups confirm their outward happiness hides genuine private regret. The Eight of Cups and Ten of Cups confirm the choice of what happens next belongs entirely to you. The Two of Cups and Three of Pentacles confirmed a real specific attempt at reconciliation is coming, built on genuine shared history, not empty words. Justice confirmed fairness is already being restored in this situation. And the King of Pentacles confirmed real stability, real grounded progress is already forming, as long as you stay focused on yourself rather than chasing this outcome. Every single card in this spread, loves, agreeing with every other card. No confusion, no contradiction, just one clear, steady direction, pointing toward a resolution that's already forming. And I want you to sit with that consistency, loves, because it means this reading isn't guesswork stitched together loosely. Every single piece agrees, which is exactly why it deserves your trust. Hold on to that trust, loves. The next time an old doubt tries to creep back in, the answer has already been given, clearly and repeatedly, card after card. One message. Let them come to you. The ball has always been in your court. And I want to leave you with one final thought, loves, before we close completely a year from now. Or maybe far sooner than that. You're going to look back on this exact reading, the one where you sat here wondering if any of this was real, and you're going to smile at how much you worried. The way we always smile at old fears once life has finally plainly answered them. Claim this, loves. Drop a comment and say the ball is in my court. Because every word of that is true. Save this. Come back and tell me when it happens. I genuinely mean that, loves. Not as a formality to close out a reading. Readings like this one only feel complete to me once I hear how they actually landed in someone's real life. So tell me, loves, the next time this person crosses your mind unexpectedly, or the moment they actually reach out, I want to know how it feels, loves, whether it matches everything this reading described or unfolds a little differently. Your story becomes part of the reason this message keeps finding the next person who needs it too. If this resonated, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, and tell me what hit hardest. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.